Hello everyone, this is Chess Teacher Tui, and today I'm going to look at a really interesting endgame position from the Manual of Chess Combinations. This happens to be number 145. And when we look at this puzzle, obviously when we're trying to study endgames, there are important principles that we need to learn in addition to just being familiar with certain kind of exact positions. And so in this particular position, you might look at this endgame and say, well, I don't think I'll ever be in this position. And the answer is no, you probably won't ever be in this particular position. But there are principles that this position can demonstrate that make it useful for instruction. So when we think about this particular position, one of the things we notice is that white is up 2 pawns, but clearly one of those pawns looks like it's going to fall. And so what does white need to do in order to strategically promote and win? Well, one of the things that I think made this puzzle just a little bit easier, even though I couldn't really see the combination all the way to the end, is I was able to use the technique of elimination. And what I mean by the technique of elimination is that once I was able to see that certain moves were complete losing moves, then it made finding the actual winning move a lot easier to see. So, for example, I was able to calculate that moving neither of those 2 pawns, neither the e4 pawn nor the g4 pawn, would result in victory. So let's just look at both of those real quick. So let's say pawn to g5, king captures g5 easily, then the king comes up, and then the white king can come back to f4, goes to d3 to defend, and now the black king is successfully in front of the pawn and can stay in front of the pawn. And now this position is going to be a draw because the king will move back, and now black has the opposition. And if you don't know what I mean by the opposition, it's that when the kings are one square away, whoever can be the one who moves in front of the other one, making them even, and then forcing the other side to move, has the advantage. So in this particular situation, because black has the opposition, it's a draw. Just to show you how it might be, how that works exactly. King goes back, say tries to go over here. Black maintains the opposition, goes back, and whichever way the white king goes, black will mirror it to keep the opposition. And now the game is a stalemate. Because as you can see in this position, black now has no legal moves, and therefore the game would be a draw. So when I was looking at this position, I was able to see that either one of these moves basically results in the exact same dilemma. King captures, king moves over, king moves over again, defends, and once again we see that black has the opposition. So it was actually not too difficult for me to solve this puzzle just based upon one really simple idea. I realized that because pushing neither of these pawns could result in victory, because black would get the opposition, I then simply went behind door number 3, king to f2. And regardless of which pawn black now takes, it's not going to go well. So just for giggles, then we'll just see, let's say what happens if he takes the g4 pawn. Then the king goes back, and you can see because white has cut off this square and this square, king comes up. And now, as you can see, because the king can get in front of the pawn and he will not be able to get behind the pawn, and now what we will see is that it is actually white who will have the opposition. And if he comes down, then check. He comes back. and white wins. However, let's say he just goes straight back. Then we go up. And white wins. So that is the understanding, is that which either way black decides to take in this particular method, is it's all about this idea of getting the opposition and understanding how opposition works and how that has to go. So king f2 will promote this to make this the main variation here, so I'm not scrolling through incorrect. So let's just say he tries it the other way. The exact same kind of thing applies. Now, there is a difference, and we have to worry about the king again trying to get over, trying to get into the corner. And he can get all the way over here, but once again we find that now the white does have the opposition. But because this is a knight pawn, there's actually something else that we have to watch out for. We have to watch out for the stalemate of the king in the corner. And what do we mean by the stalemate of the king in the corner? Well, I'll try to demonstrate that. So let's say the king goes in the corner, right? And now what we cannot do is we cannot now move the pawn to g6. Now the game is drawn. The king has just successfully managed to force white to trap him in the corner. So there's a pretty simple solution. You just come up. Go back, king f6, king h7, and you can come up. And now you have check, right? Because now in this, by just choosing the move order carefully and being more careful, now it's an easy mate. So it's a really, really interesting chess puzzle that has a lot of fascinating things that are involved in it. You have opposition, as well as the potential problem of the knight draw of the knight pawn draw in the corner. All these kind of things to watch for. Now, again, I don't expect most people, I don't expect myself, to be able to calculate all of that out just from this initial position. But just being able to see, and I think what's most crucial, is understanding immediately that because both of these moves, both g5 and e5, don't lead to victory, just being able to then find the only other move available and then being able to take that to the successful conclusion. I hope that's been a good demonstration of opposition, and this is Chess Teacher Tui, and to quote the great Mato, who has a much better video voice than I ever will, I wish you good luck with your chess, and goodbye for now.